Hello there, my name is Rebecca Cafiero. I'm certified in holistic health and integrative nutrition, and I am so excited today to have my good friend Dr. Melinda Richardson here, and we're going to be talking all about toxicity, health in the body. But first, I want to introduce her. She has been a doctor of chiropractic for 11 years, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm a founder and owner of a wellness center out in Willow Glen, San Jose. It's called Nutrition. And I connected the two chiropractic and nutritional solutions to our community. And I'm also a family mom, wife out in San Jose, California.
Awesome. So one thing that I didn't know, and I've been seeing chiropractors for years, is just really understanding the difference between a doctor of chiropractic and a MD, so a DC and an MD. So I want to go over a few of these things because researching it, I was fascinated. Right. So this is all according to the American Medical Association directory. So first of all, DCs, like Dr. Melinda, have double the study of anatomy, which is the study of the body systems, right? Absolutely. In their education. They also have more study of biochemistry, which is a little bit about interacting with the body chemistry. Right. And then twice the training in physical diagnosis. Can you tell me a little bit about what does that mean? Physical diagnosis.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're trying to get to the core of what the injuries are, possibly. And as chiropractors, we're evaluating three different things. The physical interferences with the body functioning correctly. Also with our emotional stresses, those stress hormones can inhibit our optimal function. And the last thing that we investigate are chemical reactions or toxicities that are playing a part in the body.
So you can see why I brought her on, because I'm obsessed with learning more about toxicity and how to remove it out of our body. Just a couple other things is DCs like Dr. Melinda also study neurology, which is a pathway of the brain of the body, the nervous system, basically what gives us life, right?
Right, absolutely.
Radiology, some people know that as x-rays, and then nutrition, you have 3 times the nutrition training of doctors.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? I mean, you know, I think one thing that separates us is that we're looking at what can heal the body naturally, and if food is our medicine, we got to take a look at nutrition. That's absolutely one part of it.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. You know, I think that to kind of sum that up, my understanding is that doctors, MDs study more about the body and medication, right, and DC study more about the body optimally functioning and helping it heal itself naturally.
Absolutely. Yes.
Perfect. So first we're going to get in a little bit into toxicity. So I've got a survey that I'm going to read. So these are some signs that you may be toxic, and then Dr. Melinda is going to talk a little bit about why are we becoming toxic. So are you toxic? Do you ever feel sore or tired? Not just after a workout. Do you often get headaches? Not just after drinking too much. Do you find it hard to focus or just think clearly, like you're experiencing a brain fog? Are you suffering from insomnia, difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or stress? Do you have eating or digestion problems? I feel like there's so many people out there that just experience discomfort kind of with whatever they eat. Are your muscles and joints constantly experiencing pain or discomfort? Do you have unhealthy skin? Do you break out all the time or have cystic acne? Is it hard to gain or lose weight? This is not just about weight loss. A lot of people think that weight loss is a cosmetic issue. It's really a health issue, right?
Absolutely.
And then, are you feeling less flexible as you get older? Do you just simply feel sick? Maybe you're sick of being sick. And then lastly, do you get affected by seasonal diseases or allergies? So those are just some signs of somebody being potentially toxic. So Doctor, why don't you talk a little bit about what is making us become toxic? I know that we've got a list of a few things just in case.
Right, absolutely. I think it comes down to inflammation and how the body's reacting to this biochemistry in our body. What sort of things are disrupting the pathways to help our body recover. And, you know, some of those top things could be food preservatives or additives. You know, it could be the environmental toxins in the air. You know, people right now in spring are spraying pesticides, herbicides to their vegetable garden, or, you know, just to prevent weeds in their garden. So that's out in the air. You know, we're bombarded with toxicity when we're commuting to work on the freeways, on the roads. You know, and then we take a look at what's inside of our internal environment. That could be the retardants in the carpets, carpet cleaning, any sort of cleaning products that we're using that have toxic chemicals in them. So, there's an array of different things from outside of us to what we're putting inside. If we take a deeper look, maybe some of us are medicated. Those are chemicals. They do cause toxicity results in the body. So you have to take a look at what you're consuming and what you're exposed to. And so those are all the possibilities of what toxicity could be.
It's amazing. And you shared something with me, and this is so disturbing, but I want to share this with everyone that's watching. That one, for those of us, well, female or male, that are wearing makeup or let's say putting things on our skin, that we absorb about 5 pounds of toxins a year just through makeup, which I would put makeup on for this. And then if we're eating conventionally grown food, it's about a gallon or more of pesticides, herbicides, insecticides per year that we're absorbing through our food.
Yeah, that's so disgusting.
I mean, if we were to have that in one sitting, we would die.
Yeah, and people wonder, like, why are they so sick? They're eating right, they're consuming fruits and vegetables, but that's a prime example. You don't realize that in addition to eating those, nutrients, you're also consuming lots of chemical toxicities.
And do you mind if I just go through this list? I just want to, again, just for everyone, well, actually, we're gonna let's go into talking about obesogens, because this is something that when I first heard the word obesogen, it sounded made up. Like, you hear about obesity and the epidemic of obesity that's affecting our society right now. Something that you also told me that I read is, well, by the age of 6, we have all of the fat cells that our body needs.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about that before we dive into obesogens?
Yeah, absolutely. And what happens with those fat cells is that they can grow or shrink. But what people don't know is that our liver will generate more fat cells in hopes to protect our body from toxicity. It'll encapsulate that toxin. Think of it like a grain of salt is that toxin going through your body, and that fat and water will encapsulate it to protect yourself. And what happens is all that fat, that visceral fat, will get leached onto your organs, tissues, cells, unfortunately, and cause people to be sick. And that's the bad fat, is the visceral fat that we're talking about here. The obesogens are the chemicals that cause you to be fat.
So basically, an obesogen fat cell is a toxic fat cell that incorporates that visceral fat, or is usually in the area around our organs, which is where it's the most toxic.
Yeah.
And that's the fat we want to get away from.
Yeah, and so, when you are toxic, the obesogen will get generated by the liver. And so your liver is producing more fat, and that extra fat is because of the toxicities that you're exposed to.
Understood. Scary stuff. Yeah. So a few of the things that the chemicals, and Dr. Melinda went over a few of these, that create obesogens or kind of trigger that liver response to create those fat cells to protect your body from those little toxins. Pesticides. You can find these in the dirty dozen, which the dirty dozen are foods that are found to be high in pesticides. Also in tap water. Most cities, tap water falls below what is permissible for clean water. BPA, that's in canned food, it's in medical devices, even cash register receipts. Say no to those receipts. PFOA is in nonstick cookware like Gore-Tex, microwave popcorn bags, carpeting, clothing, backpack, luggage, and water. Again, this is just a few. I can't even pronounce this one. Phthalates. Well, it's something that's found in plastic, vinyl, toys, wall paint, air fresheners, beauty and bath care products. Platelets. Okay, there we go. Platelets.
Those are the plastics, right? Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, some of it is reducing exposure, right? So we can, avoid some of the plastics, the vinyls, making sure you get non-toxic wall paint, decline the air freshener when they're cleaning out your car, take it to a place that uses non-toxic chemicals. Soy. This is a big one. My husband and I are whole foods vegan, and I really avoid soy. But soy is used for feed for livestock that is not grass-fed, and it's in a lot of packaged products as well.
Yeah, you want to look for the organic fermented soy if you're going that route.
Like tempeh. Right? Yeah. MSGs. So I always knew growing up I had an issue with MSGs. When I ate Chinese food, it would make me exhausted and sleepy. But that is in a lot of canned foods. A lot of restaurants use it. It's in a lot of packaged foods. It keeps the shelf life longer. TBT, vinyl, pesticides, fungicides, bactericides, and preservatives for wood, textile, and carpet. So basically, it's in just about everything. Artificial sweeteners. That's one that people don't even typically try to avoid. I mean, hopefully you are if you're watching this.
Yeah, they are neurotoxics to your cells.
Explain what that means.
Yeah, so, anytime that you have, one of those pink packages or blue packages, some people are very highly allergenic to it. And as a result, it is toxic to the nerves. You might notice some people shaking or headaches, vomiting. They actually have recovery groups for some of the toxicities that people consume.
And just to clarify, these artificial sweeteners are found in almost everything, unless you're eating organic.
Gum,
soda, Gatorades, plus all the artificial coloring. So, and I've heard that a lot of those artificial sweeteners, the reason someone can sit down and eat, a box of cookies, but you never sit down and eat, a bag of oranges, is because those artificial sweeteners trigger an opiate response in the brain. So the brain is looking for a high. It shows up the same, I heard on a brain scan, as like an opiate, like a methamphetamine or something.
Wow.
So highly, highly addictive, which makes sense. Their support groups.
Absolutely.
Antibiotics. So obviously, don't want to say that antibiotics don't have a purpose in some situations, but a lot of people, first of all, non-organic livestock are fed antibiotics to stay healthy, not to get sick on their way to market. But then also I feel like there's such a tendency for many MDs to prescribe antibiotics for everything. I just talking to a friend that had been on them 2 years for skin, and I mean, it just destroys the gut, and it's highly toxic.
Absolutely.
And then last is the PCBs, which is in fish, meat, and dairy. So,
and those two go together. I mean, you're looking at like, what is the livestock actually eating, or what are they bombarded with? Do they have steroids, antibiotics, and then you're consuming those, and that's what's causing the obesity as well.
Well, the hormones. We hear a lot about hormones and why are girls getting their periods younger and younger, from like 14 or 15 to like 10 now, just because of the hormones in our food. They're literally disrupting the body's function.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's just a little bit about toxicity, where are toxins coming from, what you might be experiencing, if you are toxic. And so let's talk a little bit about why diets don't work, why cutting out calories doesn't work. So maybe you talk about cells, because I know we discussed that earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. We are composed of 100 trillion cells, and we require 90 essential nutrients, and 60 of those are minerals, and we're missing that. We are nutritionally deficient and bankrupt from what we are consuming. So there's a saying that goes, don't count your calories, make your calories count. And what that means is you really just want to make sure that you're maximize that density inside that nutrient that you decide to consume, because there are a lot of empty calories. So that's what that means.
Tell us a little bit about, I know there was a study about looking at the loss of minerals and vitamins in food over a 20-year period. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Linus Pauling, he attained 48 PhDs, 2 Nobel Prizes, and he says that, he quotes that conditions, any sort of conditions that you might have are all linked to a mineral deficiency. So, you really have to take a look at, what vitamins you're consuming. Yes, that's relevant, but they do not work without your minerals. It's just expensive urine, is what I say.
And we were talking earlier, and I heard a study like, every disease, especially cancer, and other diseases, could be linked to toxicities. And you said about mineral deficiency, but what you said to me that was like a light bulb going off is that even if someone is eating the right minerals, if they're toxic, how does that stop their body from actually being able to break down and absorb the minerals?
Yeah, and so what happens is some of these toxins will just impede and just block the absorbency for you to actually get the nourishment. So that's what that means, is just that it's blocking you from being fed, because you have all these toxins in the way of actually feeling nourished and satiated.
And I want to share a little story, and this is obviously anecdotal because we can't say we can cure, treat, or prevent any disease because we're just talking about food. But I, for years, had been iron deficient, anemic. And I remember I feel like I ate kale and spinach 4 times a day. I'm like, how can I still be deficient? And after I started using Nutritional Rebalancing and Cellular cleansing, which we'll get to talking about, I was no longer iron deficient.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, it's not that I'm eating more iron, it's that my body's able to absorb the iron I'm eating more efficiently.
And that's why I feel like cleansing is such the missing link. It's like you could be consuming all the wonderful things, but if you have those toxins blocking the absorbency, it's like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into diet in a few minutes, but I know I was someone that was eating so clean and I was so frustrated because I'm like, how am I eating so perfectly? I can't clean up my diet. I'm, basically eating Whole 30, no gluten, no soy, no artificial anything, no caffeine, and yet I feel like garbage.
And it brings up a really good point. I mean, I read a study out from UCLA, I think it was in the 90s, and, our great-grandparents, they might have been able to consume one bowl of spinach, for example, or one orange, for example, but what they found is that they tested the soil and we'd have to consume like 43 bowls of spinach just to get the same nutrient density that our great-grandparents got back in the day, or like 9 oranges compared to 1 orange for them.
And that study was done in right around 2000, which was 17 years ago. So if in 20 years it decreased by that much, like who knows what it is now, like 40 years later.
Yeah, and what is the cancer rates? They went from like 1 in 50 to like 1 in every 3,
1 in every 3.
5. What's changed?
And as my husband's a cancer survivor, and I know that's an area that I have been, most people call me obsessive, is studying like what are the things that we have control over. And at the end of the day, we have control over somewhat what we're exposed to, not entirely, because obviously if we don't live in a bubble, we go out in the world and we're exposed. You go into every building and it's like, this building contains hazardous chemicals known to cause heart disease, cancer, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing is controlling what we put in our body through our mouth and on our skin.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about some of why the diets don't work. So I know Heart Healthy is a diet that for MDs has been something that's been recommended for years if someone has issues with blood pressure, cholesterol, weight issues, and that's basically kind of just eating clean, right? That's
mm-hmm.
watching your calorie intake and not eating processed foods, right? And so we'll get to talk about clinical studies. Then there's counting calories, and I want to talk about bioavailability because this is something I learned in my studies for integrative nutrition and holistic health. And I'm going to give an analogy here because I love analogies, but bioavailability is your body's ability to actually break down the food and use it as a fuel source to use it for all the different things it needs it for. So 3 examples. One is, let's say, a Snickers bar, 250 calories, right? We can kind of all agree that there's really not much nutritionally sound in a Snickers bar. So your body's ability to break that down and actually utilize those 250 calories is very low, very low. And then you take a healthy organic meal, let's say, free-range chicken that's grilled and maybe organic sweet potatoes and some type of green, kale or spinach, avocado. And even though that's a very clean, healthy food, because it doesn't consist of all the trace minerals and the minerals that our bodies really need to thrive and again to bring in that nutrition, I've heard it can only be about 30 to 40% bioavailable. Mm-hmm. Meaning even though 250 calories, your body's only using maybe a third to a not even a half to actually be able to fuel your body.
Right. And
so we're going to talk about specific foods that are formulated for maximum bioavailability up to 80 to 90%. In fact, I'm a breastfeeding mama, so I love talking about breast milk. Because
the most perfect food.
The most perfect food it is. But, yes, there's formula, and obviously this is not a conversation of, whether somebody should breastfeed or not. I mean, obviously we hear breast is best. But it's understanding that breastfed babies often don't hardly ever have bowel movements. They may only poop a few times a week, and it doesn't smell bad. And my pediatrician told me it's because they absorb so much of the breast milk. It's just all used. So it's highly bioavailable. And then you start giving them formula or solid foods, and all of a sudden they're pooping more, and it's pretty disgusting. Mm-hmm. And that's because their body is not able to break down as much of that. So I love that analogy for bioavailability. Right. So when you're eating the right foods, well, one is you should have less stinky, hopefully more consistent bowel movements, but also your body's just using more of that nutrition. Okay, so let's talk about with the counting calories and making your calories count for you. Why just calorie counting doesn't work. And we explained about bioavailability, but things like Jenny Craig and Ultra Slim Fast or Weight Watchers, and I don't want to say that the practice of understanding meal portions isn't important, because that is. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if you're eating 3,000 calories a day, even if it's healthy, if you're not someone that burns that many calories, that's not going to be a good overall result. Right. But the fact that just because you're meal portioning doesn't mean you're going to have a great kind of health result or be able to control your weight. It's really about making sure that you're not only eating the right amount, but the right things.
Right.
And juice cleanses. We're here in NorCal. We're in Palo Alto right now filming this, and I feel like every corner has,
it's popular.
Yes, it's popular. Pressed juicery, and I admit I love green pressed juices. They're like $11, cold pressed, and
they're delicious.
They're delicious.
Yeah.
But the reason that I've looked into it, I have so many people that have come to me and they say, listen, I lost some weight doing a juice cleanse, but like the moment I started eating normally, everything came back, or, I had issues, is because what I found is that one is juice cleansing. One, it's not scientifically backed. Again, drink your green juices, just avoid all the fruity, stuff, because that's the sugar. But because after 48 hours of someone doing any type of fast where their body's burning fat, you need protein.
Right.
And those cleanses don't have protein, which is, you could talk a little bit about protein and maybe amino acids and the building blocks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one reason why you want to look for the undenatured protein, just because when we pasteurize our protein, then it boils all the nutrients in it and it destroys our amino acids, which are essentially the building blocks for our entire body. So we're going to talk about a little bit about undernatured in a moment, about undernatured versus nature. But again, enjoy your cold pressed green juice every now and then. Just maybe avoid the juice fast. Plus, they're anywhere from $60 to $80 a day, and there is more economical ways to give your body exactly what it needs and to have something that's sustainable. You're going to be burning sugars, fats, proteins, and the problem with those things, if you're not putting the amino acids back, you're going to be losing muscle mass. So that's really what the issue is.
And that affects your metabolism. So you don't want to do a juice fast and then end up actually destroying your muscle, which is going to, maybe you lose a few pounds up front, but you're going to be doing some damage to yourself. And Whole30, I love the idea of Whole30. I've done Whole30 myself. It is a commitment. I love the idea that, you're really avoiding processed foods. And I'd actually, in a minute, like to talk about process. But the idea is, one, I know that it's just not a sustainable system if you ever want to eat out, if you have kids, if you don't want to spend 2 hours a day in the kitchen. And also, it still doesn't address necessarily bioavailability or reducing toxicity in the body.
It's true,
So, of course, you want to eat organic.
Toxicity.
And so getting into, let's talk a little bit now. So this is kind of part one, is all toxicity. We're going to now break down into part two, talking about balancing the body using nutrition and cellular cleansing. Okay. So still right there. All right, so nutrition with nutritional rebalancing, or nourishing your body with nutritional rebalancing, and cellular cleansing. So do you want to, I could talk about the lymphatic system maybe?
Yeah, could you?
And then I'd love to have you discuss when you found nutritional rebalancing and cellular cleansing and how it became such a great fit with your beliefs and your education.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't understand that, well, one is how your body is nourished, how your cells are nourished, and then how your cells remove waste. Because we all just I love grocery delivery. Instacart is my thing. So your heart is a pump, and it pumps blood to your cells, which ideally carries nutrition into your cells. And then on the other side, what the cells don't use is removed through what's called the lymphatic system. It's your body's waste removal system. And of course, correct me or add on at any point.
No, really good point.
But most people don't understand that the lymphatic system doesn't have any type of pump. So you actually have to activate the lymphatic system. And there's a variety of different ways, and I did a video on this you can get. But there's things like, movement, infrared saunas, which Dr. Melinda has. It's amazing.
Yes.
Helps you sweat, so you help to sweat out toxins. But there's different ways to do it kind of naturally. But if you don't address removing that waste, even if you're feeding your body the right things, you're never going to have optimal health. Right. So that's one side, is how you cellularly cleanse. So that's we're going to talk a little bit about intermittent fasting, but with nutritional support, and then also about replenishing your body with nutrition. But do you want to talk about you finding this and why it became something you decided to incorporate into your practice?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we, like I said in the beginning, we're looking at physical interferences, and when people are obese, which a third of our population in the U.S. are, over 60% of the people in the U.S. are overweight. So, just trying to get them to sustain a good physical, posture and everything is important. So that's one component of it. The other component is stress. Without addressing your hormone health and your endocrine system, then it's really hard to just naturally diminish, again, extra weight. with those cortisol levels being so high. And then, when we were talking about toxicities, it's, there are hormone impedant toxins. So you have to address those removals and get the impurities out. And so those three things, it's like, taking a shower from the inside. We really don't have a solution for that. We know how to wash everything else. On the outside, we know how to change filters in our car and our AC HVAC system. We know how to clean our teeth every 6 months, but what do we do for our internal organs? There aren't too many solutions that are healthy that actually have been proven to not eat away at our protein and our body's tissues. Otherwise, you're looking at ketogenesis, right? So that's why I decided to put it into my practice, was just really to address all of those three things.
And in a way that people can actually sustain.
So lifestyle.
Exactly, lifestyle. And that's what this is all about, is, not looking at things that are quick fixes, that are fad diets, a lot of what we talked about, but really looking at things that are sustainable so that people can experience thriving health throughout their life, not just, to look good in a dress for their high school reunion. So that's nice too.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit on nutritional rebalancing and what that is. So the idea is using intermittent fasting, which is a practice that's been around for thousands of years, combined with Ayurvedic herbs. Ayurvedic is an Eastern medicine, herbs that are really known to help the body process or to help the body process and detox and eliminate toxicity, while still nutritionally supporting the body so that you don't go into that state where you start to break down muscle or do damage, and also keep your blood sugar balanced, because nobody likes being hungry.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And get more energy from it, remove that mental fog. It sounds like an oxymoron, right? That you're going to feel more energy from diminishing your nutrients, but you're actually diminishing your calories is what I meant, but you're actually bombarding your body with nutrient density foods.
Exactly. And I know when I started, I was such a clean eater to start, and I just couldn't figure out what I wanted. I was always stressed. 2, I couldn't release what I thought was 10 pounds, turned out to be 18. And all those other ailments, basically the Are You Toxic list, I was all of those: headaches, brain fog, weight, poor skin, etc. And so when I started to use nutritional rebalancing, I used to say to people, my work life didn't get less stressful when I was in my job. My ability to deal with it got better. And so that was my body. And that's what it really is. We can't always change those outside indicators, but we can change our body's ability to process it.
Absolutely.
So let's get into, I want to talk about 3 products or 3 things, and we'll kind of break down like what does nutritional rebalancing look like. It looks like nourishing the body and then doing intermittent fasting, a few times throughout the month. But there's 3 key products. And the first one is the protein-rich shakes, which we'll talk about. This isn't a shake diet. But and I'm a vegan, so I'll talk about the vegan protein.
I am too.
Oh, you are too? That's right. Oh my gosh, we've got 2 vegans here. Another reason I love you. But for those of us that are not vegans, or for those of you that are not vegans, understanding that all protein is not created equal. And protein in the U.S., like stuff my husband used to take, is all pasteurized or denatured. So as you said earlier, that burns the protein. It kills the probiotics, the prebiotics, the branched-chain amino acids that build muscle. It kills the enzymes that actually help to digest the protein, so it becomes bioavailable. You can see the correlations here happening. And that's required in the U.S. And so what I love about the nutritional rebalancing system we use is they get their protein from cows in New Zealand. They're called cheerful cows. It's actually higher than USDA organic, because 1, the cows are never treated with steroids, hormones, RGBH, any type of drugs. 2, they're only grass-fed with grass that is never treated with pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, under some of the cleanest air in the world. And then can you talk about the fact that it's undenatured, how it goes through a cold misting process, almost like dehydration, right?
Right, and it is that, and it's preserving all the nutrients inside of it, the vitamins, the minerals, like you said, the enzymes. So, it's important to preserve all those things for you to put that in your body and for your body to actually feel fed. It's about 250 calories around there, but people get so full off of that for, anywhere from 3 to 6 hours, I would say, on that for sure, right?
Because oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's actually shocking. I have so many people that when they say, I can't believe how full I am, I can't even finish it. Like, you need to drink it down. They're good. They're delicious, actually. But understanding that it's because you're giving your body such dense nutrients. I know for me, it makes the biggest difference in cravings.
Right.
And if you ever look at those charts of like, if you're craving this, like chocolate, what are you actually missing?
Exactly.
So
I will definitely have cravings for sweets if I'm missing my shakes.
Yep.
Which happened for like a few days here.
You should help me. So that's the first one is the shakes, which again have the active enzymes, the probiotics, all of those things that our body needs. It's also got the perfect 40-30-30 combo of healthy fats, healthy protein, healthy carbs. Because you do need a little
milk.
Yes,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Highly bioavailable. Second is the what you drink on cleanse days, and there's actually you eat and drink, but is it the aloe vera based drink? But it's the heart of the aloe vera.
Yes.
And why is that important that it's not the leaves of the aloe vera?
Right, because the leaves contain the phytonutrients that, or the what is it? The fat cells.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the ones that actually clean up the toxins that the aloe vera is surrounded by. And so it's a very special filtration system that gets the heart of the aloe vera and not the blockers for toxins, right? Because we want to get rid of those toxins and address them in our body and eliminate them.
And not put in more. And so this drink is also got different fruit extracts in it, and different, again, Ayurvedic herbs, things like ashwagandha, shalaji. I mean, just yesterday I was doing a Facebook Live on, oh my goodness, on wolfberry, which some people know is goji berry, and bacopa, which, again, we're just talking about food here, but I say has been a holistic alternative to psychotropic drugs for years to treat things like mental focus, mood balancing, all those things that we can all benefit from.
Remember the adaptogens.
Exactly.
Those are huge. I mean, just adapting to stress, and like you said, just being able to get through moments in life, could be game changers. Literally could save your life. Literally.
Really can. And then the third, speaking of adaptogens, is what I call liquid gold, but it's a adaptogenic tea that's an herbal concentrate that, again, is full of these, I think there's either 5 or 6 adaptogenic herbs in it. And there's a lot of products out there that might have one thing, like goji berries. I remember buying $80 bottles of goji juice thinking like, it'll cure everything. That was one ingredient, and it was pasteurized.
Yeah.
Meaning it was actually, the nutrition was burnt. But drinking my liquid gold in the morning, and including all of these adaptogenic herbs, and it just feeling like, mental focus and clarity and calmness with no caffeine. In fact, for a lot of people, it substitutes with coffee.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I love the minerals in it as well. I mean, minerals are known as the spark plugs to life. They really light you up, and I just love them, every day, every morning. Every morning,
and sometimes at night, depending on stress load throughout the day. In fact, I noticed if I have that second serving of liquid gold, then I'm often not needing a glass of wine, especially now. Okay, so that's just a little bit about it. Talk to us about the science, because I mean, you had also, as a doctor, as someone that values years of schooling, why you found it important that a system like this is scientifically backed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want that credibility. You want to have a peer-reviewed, non-biased research that just shows you the evidence. I mean, you could have so many testimonies. You could dissect the blood and take a look at how clean it is, but is that universal for everybody? And that's what I love is the research and, applying that to what we do. So feeling confident about it is important.
And there are several different studies not only showing how nutritional rebalancing and cellular cleansing helps with weight loss, obviously. In fact, they compared it to the heart-healthy diet. It was significantly more effective in both creating lean muscle mass, which is so important for overall health and for metabolism, in reducing the visceral fat, that toxic fat, removing toxicity out of the blood. But they also did it for athletes, which I love, because I always like to tell people, this isn't about weight loss. In fact, there's a lot of people that are thin, but they're skinny fat, they're toxic. But they also showed with athletes how it improved performance, how it, like you hear about lactic acid, how it actually increased, again, the muscle tone and the overall strength and performance for athletes.
I love that.
So last, I'm going to go into kind of talking a little bit about what does this look like and questions people may have. So I know for me, when I started doing my nutritional rebalancing, what that looked like, it looked like me in the morning having my adaptogenic tea first thing in the morning.
Right.
Some people still have coffee after that is okay. There's different types of coffee. That's a whole nother discussion that are good because alkalinity is so important. And this is also about addressing the issue of acidity and alkalinity. So most people don't know, you go to Starbucks and you drink, a 16 or 20 ounce coffee that's not organic, that's highly acidic. And that cup of coffee can pull out 8 cups of water out of the body. Most people aren't even drinking 8 cups of water. My number one health tip to everyone, and this is more or less free, is that if you're experiencing any issues, you need to up your water to 50 to 100% of your body weight in ounces a day. And that's without working out. I did an Orange Theory workout yesterday, and I drank 80 ounces of water during the hour. And I weigh about 120 pounds. So I mean, you have to, of course, if you're sweating and burning calories, you need to increase water, but I divert. So what does the day look like? The adaptogenic tea in the morning, of course, with water, doing one of the nutrient-rich shakes that's going to be so much better than like, you know, well, an egg McMuffin or even like a Starbucks panini or cereal.
Yeah.
There's just, I mean, you're not getting protein, you're not getting healthy fat with those things. So again, getting that perfect meal, having a snack mid-morning to keep your body revving, to keep it in mode where it's burning, and also to keep your blood sugar up.
Right.
So snacks can be all kinds of things, hard-boiled egg, veggies, and hummus, just something that's healthy. Most people like to do a if their goal is weight loss, like to do a second shake for lunch, because it's convenient. And I know most of us were like wolfing down food. We're having something that you can have that's quick and sustainable and easy. You don't have to leave the office. And then another snack, and then a balanced meal. A healthy protein, a lean carb, a green. That's for kind of the average sedentary person is looking to lose weight. For most people that are either more active or maybe on some type of maintenance, that might even look like 2 fork and knife meals during the day and maybe a second shake as a pre or post workout option or a snack. Yeah. So, and for me, I sometimes like to have one after dinner because it's either that or it's going to be getting into the chocolate. The coconut, even if it's made with coconut milk, still has a lot of sugar. Having a shake after dinner to just kind of help with those cravings. So that's kind of the average day. And then on days of cleansing, walk us through what a cleanse day looks like.
Yeah, well, I just have to first say, I love how this whole line is made from food. I think that was really something that I had to address before considering having this in my practice. But for a cleanse day, it's really easy. We have people who weigh, over, let's see, they have 100 pounds to lose, they're 300 pounds, and they can do this very successfully. No problem whatsoever. They actually enjoy it. Some people actually will message me saying, I like this better than, just eating regular food because it's so simple. I could be busy all day. I get so much work done. I have more energy than other days. And it's real delicious. It's awesome.
And you're drinking the aloe vera
4 times a day.
And your liquid gold 1 to 2 times. I like to do mine twice.
Yeah.
And these delicious little chocolates, which just like everything else I love about this line is that nothing is cooked above boiling. So even the chocolate, it's the European standard where they cook it at a very low temperature. So again, it doesn't destroy the nutrients.
Yeah, it was developed by a pain doctor up in Canada, and it also helps satiate. It also has the amino acids to tell your brain I'm full. So the cravings are awesome. It has green tea for caffeine, natural occurring caffeine. So it'll give you that little pick-me-up and boost those natural endorphins as well that make you feel good.
And then snacks that I think, well, mine are berry that taste like sweet tarts. They help keep your blood sugar regulated throughout the day. So you're actually putting something in your body about every hour to hour and a half, and it's so simple. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about other questions or things that people ask, because a lot of times people are excited to try something that is clinically backed, that is a 30-day money-back guarantee, but they're really concerned about their ability to be successful. And I always tell people, if you put something like this in your body will transform. It'll become the miracle that it is. But sometimes it's the mindset. So one of the have people that say like, oh, I like to chew, or I don't want to do a liquid diet. I'm like, oh my goodness, I am such a foodie. The amount of food I eat is ridiculous. And understanding that you are eating, this isn't like a liquid diet. What about like, I have people that say, oh, I'm so busy. And I mean, you're at your office, you're busy between clients. How has this become convenient for you with a very busy lifestyle as both a mom and a business owner?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, gosh, at the end of the day, I don't want to cook. Sometimes, there's that, I would say maybe tonight could be one of those nights and I'll just have a shake. Or if I'm, trying to get my daughter ready and she's, still tired or wants to snuggle and I don't have time to make breakfast for, doing the dishes and cleaning up and preparing and chopping and all that gets eliminated with just like 3-minute shake, so everything can get put in. And, I have fun with it. I add, frozen fruits to it, or I'll add my spinach, even cabbage, whatever inside of it, mangoes, peaches, bananas, and we'll just have a good time with it. So.
And the thing I love, and I mean, if you do want to make like a pretty shake bowl or you want to do something like that, I love that you can have those things, but without them, it's still perfect nutrition. You don't need to add in milk or almond milk or fruit. Like it's already a perfect meal.
It is a meal, yes.
And for me, I know that, let's see, this is 2017. In 2015, I spent half the year traveling. So we traveled internationally. I went to a lot of different retreats, speaking engagements, and to be able to have healthy, convenient food in the airport, on an airplane. In fact, I always cleanse when I'm doing an international flight. Because one is, I'm breathing in all that air, that recycled air, just to get it out of your body. So also cost. Even most people, if you're eating healthy, you're eating a whole paycheck. You know, I love whole food. It's like the Disneyland food. You know, it's very easy to be spending anywhere from $20 to $40 a day to buy organic. And if you're growing your own food, even organic, you know, the time spent. And I love the fact that for most people, anywhere from around $3 a meal, they can replace. I mean, you cannot. First of all, you can't even eat for $3 a meal unless you're eating at the dollar menu at McDonald's, which we know. That's not good for
with all
you.
those nutrients, I mean, the 90 essential nutrients, the 60 minerals alone, I mean, you know, where are you going to get that?
You have $3.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And, you know, for most people being on a full rebalancing system for 30 days, you're looking at replacing typically 2 meals, a snack, and your liquid gold in the morning. It's a total of 68 meals, and also your cleanse days, and it breaks down to, depending on your state, about $9 to $10 a day. And there's no food wastage, which is amazing.
Less than one meal for me at lunch at Whole Foods.
And as someone that's certified, yeah, it is. I used to go and get the Einstein juice in the morning, which I still wasn't cleansing my body, and a salad, and it was $20 to $25. Plus, then it's the impulse buys, the cookbooks, and the candles, and all that. But knowing that you can, I always tell my clients, my goal is not to save you money. It is to give you a solution that gives you the results that you want that you're not getting with what you're already doing. So for many people, they find it saves them money or they break even. But more importantly, if you're not sleeping extra time or if you're feeling good, what does that equate to? That's invaluable. A couple of last things for people that don't need weight loss. This is not about weight loss. It is really about healing the body and having thriving health. And in fact, my husband didn't need weight loss. He put on 8 pounds of lean muscle in his first 60 days. My husband too.
Yeah.
We were losing weight, they were gaining muscle. And I was gaining muscle too. And then lastly, like, you know, people say, do I need to do this forever? And I love the analogy, like you said, of showering. I mean, you shower, you clean your car, you clean your filter. It doesn't stay clean forever, right? That cleansing is something that should be done periodically to kind of rebalance that body.
Yeah, cleansing is only 4 days out of the month. You know, how often do you, I don't know, take a shower? You know, I know.
Every other day.
Home, you know, do laundry. It's a lifestyle. You guys should have fun with it. But any day, you know, that you feel good, you should be doing, you know, what feels good.
Absolutely. And then 2 other things. One is cost. And I want to say that, you know, we talked about cost, but my family has spent time in the hospital. And I mean, I know that the average 3-day stay in the hospital for most people is $30,000. Now, insurance will cover some. Yes. Most people still end up spending a few $1,000s with copays. So anything that can keep you healthier, to keep you out of being sick, is huge savings. And then lastly, FDA approval. We have a lot of people that say, what about FDA approval? And I just want to clarify that FDA approval is, the FDA does not approve food. It approves drugs. And so obviously, like if you're getting scripts, if you're getting, you know, medication,
additives,
that's a huge thing. So if you're eating something that says it's FDA approved, the FDA does not approve food, but it approves additives. It approves synthetics. It approves artificial colorings. So if you have something that's FDA approved, that actually means it includes synthetics, which you do not want. In fact, everything we're talking about is just food, no artificial ingredients, no artificial stimulants, no artificial additives, no colors, no dyes, etc. You know, just clean, healthy food sourced from the best source.
Right. So it's compliant with FDA.
And then, so if somebody wants to get started on nutritional rebalancing and cellular cleansing, what do they do? Well, hopefully you go back to whoever sent you this video that is a big fan of using it to maintain thriving health. You get your own wholesale account. So it's like having an Amazon store at your disposal. And you are able to order what you want when you want to basically nourish you and your family and your own needs.
Right. I'm all about empowering people with their health. So this is another way that they can just take that into their own hands and order their own superfood from the comfort of their home or their phone.
And have it show up on your doorstep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Melinda.
You're welcome.
It's always a pleasure.
I know. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See ya.